Google just released their latest update to the Gemini Plus family, Gemini 3.7. Today we're going to test it out and we're going to also see all of its benchmarks. If you want to see actual examples that we are going to code live inside the anti-gravity ID, jump to the second half of the video. If you also want to see the benchmarks and all of the news, begin right now. So it's a substantial improvement in terms of quality across coding, knowledge work, and development tasks. Here we can see it compared to Gemini 3.6 Flash, Claude Sonnet 5, and GPT 5.6 Terra in Frontier Code, which is the latest benchmark to evaluate code performance. It's a 10% absolute jump over the previous generation Gemini 3.6 Flash that was released a month ago. It also improved massively on long horizon software engineering tasks, which is the deep software engineering version 1.1. In the web development code arena, it also has a significant jump against the competition and its previous model version. It's also very good at understanding PDF documents and in enterprise workflow automation. This is a significant improvement of what Gemini 3.7 can do versus its previous iteration and previous version. In terms of costs, the cost is also significantly improved and can match the performance of GPT 5.6 Sol at a lower cost. Here we can also see how it improves versus the previous iterations of Gemini, higher performance and significantly lower cost, which I find to be super amazing. Here we can see the full benchmarks against similar sized models that actually cost a lot more, such as GPT 5.6. We can see that in terms of multiple benchmarks, it's matching or increasingly being better than even Sonnet 5 and Muse Spark 1.2. In total, this seems like a very capable model. We see it across all of benchmarks being significantly good or equaling the performance of these more costly models. So in my opinion, if you're on a budget or if you've got a Google subscription, give it a try. One of the greatest things is that it has amazing speed. It can output 340 tokens per second while keeping the cost per task significantly lower than GPT 5.6 Sol, MK3, and Grok 4.6. So this is a fast, cheap model with quite high intelligence. It's not Fable or Opus 5 level, it's not even GPT 5.6 Sol performance level, but it's very cheap and very fast, and for most daily tasks it must be good enough. And that's what all of the benchmarks show. It's also very close to the Pareto frontier, as we can see in the chart, where we see the time per task on the x-axis, so it's very fast and very smart. And this is a very meaningful improvement, especially for people that want to test out things fast, see results, and build on top of that. And right now, Google offers a discounted price of 50% until the end of the year. So if you want to use it for automations or through API, the cost is very low. And you can see it compared with all of the other models, it's super cheap, while being very fast and quite smart. So it's about time that we test it out. So make sure to update your anti-gravity ID and create a new project. So let's give it the first prompt, which is making a neomorphic Pokedex application. We'll give it the prompt and let's send it. What I really want to test out here is how good the performance and design of frontend will be, as well as how fast it's going to solve our query. And as we can already see, the model is literally so fast. We can see all of the thinking patterns, defining the task, understanding what to do. It creates an implementation plan that we can actually review. I'm just going to skip it. Let's say go ahead, because this is a quite simple task that we just put here as a reference. If you are new here, in every single video that we test out models, we give them the same 3 prompts and we judge the final output according to what they do. While we wait for that, I'm going to open up a new window and task it to create a transformer teaching web page. And then open up a new chat window to make a Flappy Bird style game. So as we can see, this model is very fast. In just a couple of seconds, it's putting out hundreds or thousands lines of code, which I find to be completely amazing and astonishing. Also, what I see is that the anti-gravity ID is super good at being smooth and, I see no clear issues and everything is fully explainable and super clean. So I really, really love how anti-gravity is working right now and how good it looks. So here it asks us to run npm install. So let's allow it to run npm install to work on the neomorphic page. I'm also going to give this second-hand prompt to both Flappy Bird and Transformer teaching webpage so it doesn't messes up with the other project that is the neomorphic Pokedex page. So it wrote around 4,000 lines of code in 2 minutes. This speed is absolutely insane. So the time now is to judge the quality and the final response. So without taking any more of your time, we're going to jump to the final results. So we spin up a server to check the neomorphic Pokedex page. Let's check it out. And it gives us the exact URL we need to test out on our browser. So let's test it out. Let's see the Pokedex page. So we have a window here, we have sound effects, we got favorite Pokemons, we can do loads of different sortings. So let's save some favorite Pokemons. We can also filter by size and we can also hear sound effects. We can see the shiny form, we can play sounds that you might not listen to, they're pretty crazy. And we can see here all of the effects. Pretty amazing, pretty lovely. I have never seen like a page like that having all of these informations. I would say the final response looks pretty clean and pretty amazing. I also see some very interesting and new stuff that I've never seen before. So let's see here, the search bar is also working. This is very beautiful, absolutely love it. And yeah, I think the response here on Pokedex is 100% the best I've seen across any model. So that's very good. So it gives us the commands here to open up the transformer page. It wrote around 6,000 lines of code in about 3 minutes. Pretty insane. Like, I've never seen something so fast. So I'm just going to ask it to run the application for me. So let's check out what it created for us. Let's open up the URL here, and here is the teaching page of Transformers. On first look, the design looks bad. It also looks quite complicated. It tried to do a lot of things. Like, this is in every case super complicated. We can run simulations that visualize us how RNNs work, and at the same time we can see how Transformers work, but the UI design in no case is good enough. I see loads of information, but it's way too much, and the design doesn't look that great. But what I see this model trying to do is trying to put a lot of information out to the user. We here see the matrix of the positional embeddings and how everything is changing. That looks very nice and interesting. Here we can see the weights and how attention works. I'm not going to go into detail in how correct everything is. The visualizations are quite nice, but this is something very complicated, and the UI design feels a little bit early 2026. Like, this model obviously doesn't have the latest upgrades in terms of design, but it's obviously a model that really puts in work. It also gave us some code for Transformers that I find super nice because we could use that and try to run this locally. And also we got glossary and quiz where we can learn about specific stuff. We also have a quiz with challenges that we can, do. So I'm just going to put the answers as it is, and it gives us explanations. So overall, I think this is a very solid model in terms of knowledge and trying to visualize a lot of stuff. But in terms of design, I don't like it. I feel it's very bad at UI design. That's at least my feeling at this point. So let's stop the server and let's check out the Flappy Bird game. So what we see here, it's running a lot of code and tries to do a lot of strange commands on the terminal, which for me makes absolutely no sense. So let's open up the game in our browser. So this is the game. And the UI design looks good, but there is a very big issue. This game is very hard to play. And this is what it feels like when a model is very bad at understanding physics. So what obviously is seen here is that this model is quite good, but it has a small model smell. Like it doesn't understand some fundamental things about gravity and making an easy game. The UI looks good, the game looks good. This is not a lazy model. It's going to put in the work, it's going to do a lot of things, but it really misses out on taste and on understanding core concepts such as physics. So in my opinion, this model obviously is great, it's obviously super fast, the anti-gravity experience is improved, but in no case or form this is not a frontier model, this is not state of the art, and you should really only use it for simple tasks or guide it quite a lot. I wouldn't, allow it to make decisions, I wouldn't allow vague prompts to it. So in terms of overall responses for its size and cost and speed, it's good, but for hard tasks, this is not the way to go.